it going, everybody?
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Welcome to the big show. Da-na-na, da-na-na. All right. So, as you guys join, say hello. Get ready to hit that share button because you guys have asked for more Glowforge videos and we are delivering. We're actually going to use our Glowforge today on something we've never shown before during a live, and I'm really excited. So as you guys join, say hello, make sure to share this with your crafty or not so crafty friends, because I'm telling you, the future is laser cutting machines. Laser cutting machines are not only so cool, they're literally changing people's lives. I'm not kidding. I am seeing so many amazing people building businesses around their Glowforge to the point where they've had to buy multiple machines. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. It is truly the making machine. So before I get into all of that, let me introduce ourselves. You might know us, maybe not. I don't know. My name's Ken. This is Sean. And together we are doing Ken's Kreations Home Decor DIY. Did I say that right? Decor? Decor. Sorry, Pete.
French.
All right. So have your questions ready to go on the Glowforge so we can explain it. It is, in my opinion, the future. It's the revolution.
Revolutionary.
Are we live on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh, there we are.
There's
Thanks, Sheila.
Thanks, Sheila.
How's it going? All right. Hopefully we're on the right page.
Should be.
All right, good. All right, so first and foremost, the links are down below. Regardless of whose link you use to buy Glowforge, when the time comes, make sure to use someone's link because you'll save up to $500. And they are so generous, they actually give us a kickback for referring the machine. Now, let me give you a little bit of a background on the Glowforge. I didn't want the machine to begin with. This was the machine Sean really wanted. And what did you like about the Glowforge?
Size. It can be done in the home. Versatility, what it can do and cut. Price, it is a little pricey, but when you look at what industrial ones cost, it's a good one. It's a good price. That's what. Hi, Charlene from Idaho. What inline fan do you use for venting out the window, says Tanya. Ours is... It's not something I look at. I know what it is. I mean, I can see it's black and it's a...
We can show you, and we can also get you the link.
We'll kind of show you, but it's not the one we're using. Because my basic has the inline, but the Pro doesn't.
Yeah. So, Sean wanted this machine, and I didn't quite understand what it could do. We bought it, and it sat for probably 6 months, and he was so eager to get started. And he started cutting stuff and etching stuff, and I said, I cannot deal with this right now. And he was like, it's easy to use. And I was like, I can't deal with it. It's too much. He's like, it's really easy to use. And I was like...
as Darlene says, there is no manual.
Perfect. So I was getting to that point.
Oh, sorry.
There was a build-up, but he just went with it. So, literally, I didn't want to deal with it until finally I said, okay, let's play with it. And I brought in a file, and I hit go, and that was it. And I said, this is how easy it is? And he said, yes, that's how easy it is. So this machine, there is no manually adjusting of the eye. If you can use CRICUT Design Space, you can use their software. They have built-in features now that are amazing. You're able to do offsets. You're able to bring in fonts, tons of stuff. And if you are part of their premium program, you are in the fast lane for cutting of the file. It makes your processing speed faster, right?
Yeah, it processes the speed faster.
Yes. So very exciting. Now, everything that we've shown up to this point, we literally have loved. But one thing that I love about the Glowforge, and here's something I didn't realize when I first saw it. When I first saw the Glowforge, it was on a Kickstarter campaign, and I'm thinking, no one will ever buy that machine because of how much it cost. And it took me a while to buy into it, and we bought the basic at first. We now have the Pro, and we are buying the Plus. The one thing that I love about the Glowforge that I have not found with any of the other laser cutters is 3 things. Number 1, the community. The Glowforge community is amazing. They have something that's called Beyond the Manual that literally has a ton of people with amazing resources on why is my Glowforge doing this? How do I cut this? What settings do I use for this? It is a huge asset that I've not found with any of the other lasers. So that's number 1. Number 2, I love how simple they've made it. So with their proof grade material, they have a QR code. That QR code tells the Glowforge machine all of your settings, it scans it, and everything. I love their proof grade so much, and I think other people do too, because they're always out of stock. And as soon as it does come back into stock, it goes out pretty quick. Now, the final and probably the most important thing that I love about the Glowforge that I haven't seen with other machines is the amount of businesses that have been created around a Glowforge. I'm seeing people that have never dreamt of having a business now have Etsy stores and cutting files and doing cutouts because the Glowforge is so easy and they're making substantial incomes. So even though they've invested in the machine, I've talked to many people that are like, I had to buy another machine and I can't keep up. And to me, that is more powerful than anything else. That is what Glowforge does. It has created a maker community. And this is something I was most excited about when I saw the CRICUT maker. I said, oh my gosh, this machine is revolutionary. And nothing against that machine, but it does not compare. And you can see that with the price. I mean, the starting off price is $2,500. CRICUT maker is what, $400? But everything that I wanted my CRICUT maker to do that it could kind of do, just not at the right speed, the Glowforge does it, and it does it amazing.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And
so
it's amazing. These people who start their business, you literally pay off their machine probably within a month.
Yes. So Christine Dink said, it's much as a used card, LOL. I had that same thought. I said, Sean, this machine is $2,500, right? There's no way. But then I started talking to people who have no audience, who have never done a YouTube channel. And when I reach out to them and let's say they used our link, I'm like, how is your Glowforge doing? They're like, Ken, I made $1,000 this month in my first month just by selling stuff at my church or something. And then a couple months are like, I made $3,000. So yes, it's an investment, but it's an investment that pays off. And it's your business on your terms, which I love. All right, so there's my little soapbox on it, but we are gonna get started because I truly believe this machine is something, if you can't afford it, start saving. $50 here, $25 here, a swayer jar. Even if it takes a year, this machine will be life-changing to many people. And it's very easy to use, it's safe, and you have us as a resource. So we like to help people set it up, walk through it. Sean's very passionate about this machine. So let's show you just kind of some stuff that we've made recently. So for those of you who might have seen, we do have some Glowforge ornaments that you can pre-order. These were cut on our Glowforge. All of these take 17 minutes from start to finish to cut. They are 1/4 inch thick. This is cut on, which one's this, Shani?
That one is the Mahogany Plywood.
Mahogany. So you can still pre-order these until the end of Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Because I just want people to see, look at this. And I mean, all of these were done in 17 minutes. We also have it in
Black walnuts.
Black walnut. We're out of cedar, but I still want you to see how cedar is because it's gorgeous. This is maple.
That one is...
Or is this a...
That's the white oak.
White oak.
That is the...
I think that's mahogany.
No, that's cherry. So this one is...
mahogany. We haven't said mahogany.
This is mahogany.
Oh.
Cedar.
This is...
Cherry wood.
Cherry wood. This one here is...
That's maple.
Maple.
So this is hickory.
Hickory. Hickory dock. So...
Yeah, there we go.
This is... you can pre-order these now, but I want to show you, this we cut out in wood. Cutting is extremely quick. Very, very quick. The thing that can take a little bit of time is etching.
We give that one away.
Huh?
We gave the.
We did give that one away, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I wanted to show you this though, because we just did these today. I wanted to play around with it. This is scoring. So it actually scored these lines. I haven't even peeled it. That's how quick it is. And look at the detail on that. So look at these. I still have all the protective, but these are 4 inches, and the detail, and believe it or not, these took only 17 minutes for all of these to do. So that is to cut the circle and to score the wood there. And it was quick, fast, painless. And imagine how much you could sell these for. I mean, just, you know, maybe not frozen, but you can sell these for amazing profit and stuff. Yes, it's time and stuff, but that's how cool this machine is. Look at these. Look at the detail on her. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
Look at this one. I mean, I just love it. So, the frozen ones we just did for us, but you can pre-order these if you don't have a Glowforge and want to pre-order these. Definitely fill out our form below. We do have limited stock on hand. That's why our cedars are already sold out. But if you want the other ones, just fill out that form and we will invoice you. All right, so let's talk about the machine. Now, the machine can cut, it can etch, it can score. And it does a really good job. Now, most people will say, what can it cut? And here's the deal. It can cut a lot, but a lot of it is kind of trial and error. And that's kind of why I love the QR code so much, because the machine does everything for it. Now, up to this point, we've always cut wood, we've cut etched and scored, but I wanted to show acrylic. So many people have been asking acrylic. And not just any acrylic, we're gonna show you the Mama Jamma thick
1/4 inch
acrylic. This is thick. Now, it looks like it is white, but it's actually clear. Once we take this back, you'll see it.
There's a lot of questions we got that people are asking that
Oh,
we hope to get to.
Let's do them right now.
Let me back up a little bit because they've been running like crazy.
Do you want to go back up to us though for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So you can see here, it's clear acrylic, and we'll show you this. We're going to cut this for you guys here in a sec, but let's answer some questions for you.
Darlene says, can you tell us about how much a board like this would cost? This one here, I believe is...
Give me one sec, Shawnee. Yeah,
each kind, each wood, and each thing is different. From thick to thin is different cost. Real wood is a little more expensive because it's real wood and it's mostly plywoods.
I'm going to give them the link of their shop so they can see and kind of tour through all of this stuff. So give me one sec here. I'm going to give them first. So that first link is the Glowforge shop of all of the stuff. So the acrylic that we are using right now, which is the thick acrylic, it is $3.25 for the thin. And for the thick, which is 12 by 20 thick, it is $5.
So this sheet that we just saw here, this one is $5. And you can see, like I said, like you said, the size is how much was it? The size was
12 by 20.
12 by 20.
Yep. And then someone had a question on, you said the inline fan, is that correct?
Yeah, it's let's see, it's the Cloud Line. Heidi, you have the same one I have, but you have the bigger one. I have the smaller one. I have the 4-inch, and you have the 6-inch. The 6-inch would have been a little nicer to have, but the 4-inch does fine.
Which one is it?
Ours is that's the one we have. Is the 4-inch. She's got the 6-inch.
Gotcha. Now, what's the difference between a 4 and a 6-inch?
So a 4-inch, the 4-inch, the fan itself is a 6-inch actual fan in the 4-inch, but it's tapered down to do a 4-inch inlet outlet thing. As her 6-inch is probably 8 inches, but it comes down to a 6-inch, but you still need to taper down again to a 4-inch because of the hole or the exhaust in that.
So
ours does 100 cubic.
I'm
CFM?
So sorry to interrupt you, Sean. Okay, so let me share this. The reason I'm interrupting Sean is I know most of you that are not a Glowforge are saying, why do I even need an inline fan? So maybe that's where we should start that answer. So we didn't get an inline fan to begin with. And the thing to remind yourself is, even though these are powerful machines, they are not industrial machines. They're not designed to do a ton of cutting right in a row. And we found that out very quickly. Our house was filling up with smoke. It was getting dirty quick. And once again, we went to the Beyond the manual, and everyone said you need an inline fan. So the Glowforge fan itself, you got to think about it when it's cutting stuff, especially when it's got this transfer tape on it. It is getting like almost dust and soot, and it gets in that fan. It slows down your fan, and it can overheat or it can freeze up on you. So once we installed an inline fan, which we'll show you, it really helped with that.
Yep.
So that's the reason. And there's a 4-inch and a 6-inch. So what's the difference between a 4 and a 6?
So the 4-inch, like I said, it's tapered down to take a 4-inch coupling, which is about closer with the exhaust fan port for that. 6 inches, obviously a little bigger, so it's actually going to be able to move more air faster. The 4-inch is equal to what the fan that the machine comes with, which is 100 CFM, where the 6-inch is a lot more. One of the nice things is that once you turn off that external fan or the internal fan that's in there, it's pretty noisy because it's only this big and it moves very fast, so it's noisy. Once you turn that off and start doing an inline fan, night and day. You can have a conversation. I can even watch TV while it's running. It's not that bad at all.
So to answer Melissa, since I see your question on there, do you purchase all your wood products directly through Glowforge? No, we do not. We do purchase a lot when we can, but they do run out quickly because they are selling so many machines and so many people have created businesses and their product is very good and it has the QR code on it. But like anything, we run out of material. So we've gone to Etsy, but our latest thing has been Home Depot. I gave you the link in the chat, but Home Depot has some really nice wood and natural finishes, and we bought stuff there. So a lot of people are even going to their local Home Depot, getting the big MDF and cutting them down themselves, or even having Home Depot cut them down. So there you go.
I really want to know about the venting and smell. The fan, as long as you're venting outward, takes care of basically most of all the smell. Even though if you're constantly working and stuff, and though all the smoke is still venting, as soon as you open that lid, there's still going to be a smell because that's the workspace. That's where it's going to be. So it's gonna be there. There's no way to get away from it. But to filling up your house with the smell, as long as you're venting outside, it takes care of pretty much all of it.
So before we got our inline fan on our basic, our house, especially when we did wood, smelled like a campfire. When you cut acrylic, it smells like a nail salon. Once we got the inline fan, it probably reduced the smell by 92 to 95%. The only time it starts to smell is when we do a lot of projects in a row. Sean has to do a full cleaning of the machine, which we are in the process of editing that video. And if he does that, the smell is almost non-existent. However, before inline fan, when we just had our basic and we were doing them back to back, our house was full of smoke. There was ash kind of on our, like our tables and stuff because we didn't clean it. We didn't know we had to clean the Glowforge. We didn't know how to clean it. And that's all what came with the bill on the Glowforge.
Do you have to buy software to use it?
Software comes with it. So let me clear that up because this is a big question I always get. The software comes with it. You'll see it today when we actually share it, when we bring in the file. The software itself it's free. Now, it does not give you the ability to create SVGs. And that's, I think, where it is. They do have a library now that has hundreds of different images. Think of it kind of like Netflix, but for Glowforge, where I'm a premium user, so I get access to those files. I also get access to their free cut of the week and other files. But if I want to create, like I'm taking a, like a stencil or something, and I want to create something with that requires me to create an SVG, which is an Adobe Photoshop. However, anywhere on Etsy, all you have to do is go Glowforge, SVG files, and thousands of files under $1 are going to come up. And all those are open, bring into the Glowforge, done. So there you go on
Cut,
that one.
etch, and do a. Kiko said she just ordered one under your code.
Ooh, I wonder when I'll get the email. That's what's nice is usually we get an email from Glowforge that says, congrats, someone used your code, which I love because we like to send a thank you email. if we can find them. They don't give us your email. So if you're friends on Facebook or something, we like people to know that, hey, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Because a lot of it we've learned just kind of trial and error and stuff. So
So the prices for the basic is $25.
So it's $25 for the basic,
35
for the plus, and $59 for the pro. And then it takes $500 off the pro, $250 off the plus, $100 off the basic. Melissa says, do you know anyone who has purchased the filter for the Glowforge and it's worth the price? Yes, we do. Actually, we know a friend that has it. And I would say yes if you're in an area that doesn't have venting. The big thing on their compact filter machine, you have to regularly clean your machines. If you don't, it's just going to clog up that filter at a very high pace, and you're going to be going through a lot of the filters.
And those filters are $250 each
so
time.
You want to make sure you clean it. And when I say clean it, that's why we're doing a thing is Sean literally takes a fan out and cleans the entire fan. I mean, it's a good hour-long process of cleaning.
When I do a deep clean, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
One of the bad things about having because I just read this on their form, that if you do have the inline filter, they highly suggest never to cut the draft board, because the amount of ookie-gookie stuff, because draft board is basically sawdust with a lot of glow, and that can clog up your filter so fast that's why they recommend don't use draft board.
And a lot of people do use draft board because it's the cheapest option, and people are going to paint it and stuff like that. But I can tell you right now, the first thing that we mass-produced cut were these little gnomes. They were so cute, and it was on draft board, and it filled up an entire sheet. And it did. Our Glowforge had to be cleaned like pretty regularly on that one.
Somebody I know, I have had to go back, but somebody says, how do you make your own designs?
Adobe Illustrator. Yeah. And is it worth it to get premium? I think it is, because in their software, what they're asking on that one is the software is free, but there's a premium feature that gives you premium stuff like files, fonts, the ability to do offset, the ability to manipulate the file within it. So when the Glowforge first came out, the software itself was literally the A to the Z of you bring in a file, you cut it. There was no customization. There wasn't the ability to do a lot within the software. But what they've done now is with the premium, they've added that. So when we go into the software, I'll show you what premium added.
So Heidi likes to use her Silhouette Business as well.
So here is the fun fact that a lot of people don't know. Silhouette store, Silhouette America, their online store, when you purchase files from Silhouette, you have the option to click a box and say, I would like the SVG version of this file. Use that. It's usually like 40 cents more than the regular Silhouette file, and you get an SVG file that can be used in your Glowforge.
All the machines cut all the same size. All the machines look identical. If you didn't know it, they're all the same. The only thing you can tell is like on the plus and the pro, it's got that word right on top of on the mirror.
The big difference between the pro and the others is it has the pass-through slot. The pass-through gives you the ability to go, it's still 20 inches wide, but it's going to be unlimited length. And there's a lineup that it has a camera, and it's going to let you do a pass-through. So you could do big porch signs or stuff like that.
Is draft wood different than MDF? It's basically the exact same thing.
Susan says, so we need to know how to use Photoshop in order to make designs, correct? Not Photoshop. I use Adobe Illustrator. Going into Glowforge, before I got into Glowforge, I never used Adobe Illustrator. I never was a designer. But now I am using Adobe Illustrator, and it's actually pretty easy once you know their language of how to do stuff. That's something I'm adding to my list on how to make files and stuff like that. So it is something that is on our tick sheet of stuff. So, all right, so let's show you what we're doing here. So basically, I want to take this here and put it on acrylic and kind of get a stained glass look. And this is perfect for the Glowforge. I've already created my file and converted it. Once again, I will show you guys how to do that because it will be something I'm going to have to do different, and it won't be using those stencils. It's going to be using other stuff. But I've already created it, and we're going to show you the app part. So let me go ahead and make sure we are... All right, there we go. Give me 1 second. I'm going to log in here. And... Okay, we are good. Let me share the screen here. So here is the dashboard of the Glowforge. I'm going to bring in the one of these files that I'm going to bring in. So I'm going to upload. And I already have this saved on my desktop. But once it opens, I'm going to kind of show you everything here. I'm not going to see your comments for a quick second, so just bear with me here on that. But here is our Glowforge app window. So let me kind of run through some stuff here that you guys will see. So number one, you're going to see that we have essentially this area. This area is a photo the camera took inside the Glowforge, and we'll show you that in a sec when we show you the machine. So when it takes a photo, it's doing a couple things. Number one, it's reading this QR code. You'll see here, my settings up here already say thick draft board because it's read that. If it did not know what that was, if you did not have a QR code, it would basically say unknown, which won't let me look up unknown, but it won't let you do anything with unknown. You have to basically choose something. So they also have materials already set. So if you think, oh, this feels like it's 1/4 of an inch medium, you can use one of their settings or do a test cut. Now, when I click on the settings, I have the option to engrave, cut, which changes it to a red line, score, which changes it to a pink line, or ignore the cut. So engraving, you'll see here, it changes it to a pink, and when you hover over it, a teal. And this literally means it's going to engrave. So it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and do this really nice engrave. You do have the ability to do custom settings. You can see down here, we've done our own pine, Santa board. You can do manual. You can do all sorts of stuff. And then what's the difference between draft, SD, and that, Shawnee?
That is the quality of your engrave. If you're wanting to just to see something really quick, that's why they make draft boards. So you can do a quick create. You just have to do a special setting so it'll do it faster. As you get into the SD or the HD, it'll slow it down, but the quality is so much better.
All right, so let me kind of go through here. So we're going to say we're going to cut this because that's what we're going to do. And it thinks it's a thick draft board. It's not, because we're going to end up putting in acrylic. So we'll get to that in 1 second. Up along the top here, you have your select tool. You have your pan tool, undo, redo, import artwork, and then is our premium stuff. Insert shape, insert text. There's some more functions, but you'll also see that over here, if you select your design, you also have these premium features. Create outline, flip vertical, and flip horizontal. So since I have this in here, I can say I want to create an outline. I can say, let's go ahead and do 0.25 create outline, and it's going to do its little thing. And you can see now I have an outline outside of this. So this can literally be something where you bring in a design. Let's say you have a someone's signature and you want to create that on something but give it an outline. It can create an outline. The other features in here for premium is you can insert a line, square, circle, star, polygon, or you can hit up here and either trace your bed, which means literally it's going to trace it. So a lot of times people will say, how do you do an outline of a stencil? And I'll say, I literally sometimes take a stencil, take paint, put it over on it, and then come up here and say, trace. And it will trace that stencil that I just put paint on and give me an outline. Upload is what we did to upload our design, but these are all of the designs that come in the premium, and you can see all of the different ones. We can look up basketball. Well, if it helps if I spell it right. So then here's a whole bunch, and that's just, you have favorites. So we can say, yep, this is what I want. I want to bring in this basic basketball. It's going to bring it in. This is free for me to use. And then from there, I can do an offset. I can do whatever. But like right now, let's say I want to etch this, but I want to cut this eventually too. So I can come up here, put in a circle, or you could do an offset. You can do all sorts of stuff, but I can literally bring in this circle, resize it to whatever I want. And I'll be like, okay, that looks good, you know, and I want this to engrave. Oh, but I want to add someone's name. So I want to add, and then I can go into here. Your text is over here. And then I can actually pick all my fonts, hit enter. It's going to format it. And then I could even, oops, I moved the part of the basketball, but then I can start etching on it. So that's what the premium gives you. It gives you some really cool features. I think it's worth it, but it also gives you up here. So I'm going to just open this in a new window. So they have a catalog. So the catalog is designs that you can buy. So there's a whole bunch of designs that you can come in and buy. So right now, the Space Shuttle Discovery is free. I can get this for free and make it. Some of them have costs, but my favorite is the new free with premium. So these are all free for premium users. So if you are ready, all you do is say, oh, I want to make this. I want to make this soup pantry door. So I get unlimited prints because I'm premium, so I can add to the dashboard. Now it's available on my dashboard, so I just click on that. And you can see it did everything for me. It's right here. I can say, I'm ready to do this project. Open it. And there is everything I need to make that project. Just like that. Other than that, there is right here, this will always tell you tips and stuff. So the temperature is dropping. You know what that means. It's time to start doing some serious baking. So they give you some, this is a cute design, but they also give you a referral code. And as soon as you own your own Glowforge, you can refer this to friends and earn either free products or some cash. Up here, you'll see that we actually have two machines. One is turned off. We just have our the Pro's on and our basic is offline. So if I go to my Pro, I can switch in between the two machines. Right now, it's saying you don't have anything in here. So what are you going to do? So that's where we will pick up. So Sean will get that going. Okay. So that was a quick overview kind of what the software looks like. It's very easy to use. I was intimidated with it for no reason until I started playing with it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn on the camera and take it over there. And Sean's going to toggle between me and the software to show you what it's scanning. I will show stuff and then he's going to talk about what you are seeing. I am going to start with our basic Glowforge so you can see that inline fan that a lot of people are talking about.
Gotta get over here.
Okay. So I'm going to take this piece with me.
I could mic you, you know.
It's fine. You can talk for me.
All right. Off he goes. I do have to say that the my Epoch camera, sorry for the messy room. This is not the room we were going to use. There's the door fully open, and there's the inline. So the one Heidi has is a little bigger than that, but that's what they call the 4-inch, and there's the exhaust port from the machine itself. It says it's 4 inches, but it really isn't, which I wish it would be correct, but that's okay. That hose does come with the machine when you buy one, and there's my exhaust right out the window. Perfect that. And then there's the on switch. It has different speeds on it, 1 through 10, or 1 through 9, I forget how many, but I always have it at full power as it inlines. It's very, very quiet for what it is compared to the actual fan that is inside. Now, I've had this machine for more than a year. My warranty is already off, so I actually took the internal fan and took it out. I even cut the cone that was in the back. I cut all that out, so all my flow is all good to go, and it doesn't get clogged up or anything. So there's the pass-through that he was talking about. You have to go inside, take off the the thing to it to allow it. There's another one on the other side, and there's my 4-inch outtake. I do not have an inline because I keep my fan very clean. If I want to do one, I can, but I would have to do it. And of course, you would have to turn the machine the other way if you want to do a pass-through. Of course, I can't open my thing up all the way because of that, but I could move it over if I want to. So he's just going to put it right there on the crumb tray. And there's the QR code that the camera, which is right there, is going to read, and then it's going to automatically set it up. And you can use an iPad, you can use a phone, you can use, obviously, a laptop or a desktop. He pressed that little spot up there. And once he does that, that brings up the dashboard. He's going to grab his nativity piece, open it. He's going to render the design, and it pops right in there, and there it's going. There it says thick, clear acrylic, and it wants to cut it. And there's the outline that we want. It's the nativity. We know what we want, so it's all good to go. He just brought it down a little smaller so we can put it anywhere you want. So if you have multiple things, you can go in there. Once it turns gray, you're out of bounds, and it will not cut anything if it's gray. You have to make sure it has a color. It thinks there's nothing there, even though there is. This is where you can really play and get the max out of your boards and stuff. You can use your arrows. Once you have it highlighted, you can use your arrows to go up and down. We do not want to engrave. That's where it's right now. It's telling us it wants to engrave, but there's no artwork because it's still gray. Once he moves it into the cutting area, it'll turn, and now it's ready to go. But we're not going to engrave this. We're going to cut it. So he's going to press it, hit cut, and it's good. Now, if we score it, it does a draft score or a high density score. Draft is very quick. A lot of the stuff we do is draft. We've done a couple things with high density just to give it a better look, and you can do that too, but it does take longer. Once it's ready, you just push the button, ready, and now the machine is going to take a picture, which it already did. It's going to, now a little red light will come on down there. There it went, and what it's doing is the machine is checking the distance from the surface of that up to the camera so it knows how thick that material is. Even though we know what it is, it still wants to check it and test it every time. It's now preparing your print. This is the point where it says you're now in the fast lane right there. It's because we have the premium, it happens faster. It's going to take 2 minutes, 30 seconds to do this whole thing. Once it does that, the white light tells you it's time to go, and all you're going to do is push it, and it's going to start. And he goes. And he's taking his time. There he goes. If you have headphones on right now, you might be able to hear the fan running. It is pretty loud. And there it goes. And there's the beam. Some people want to know, how is the edge? The edge is clear, so it's literally melting it, but it's still clear on the edge. So Florence says, what's the thickest piece of wood you can cut? Well, with the crumb tray that is in there, it can only cut so much because of the distance, and there is a fan in the back underneath that's called the fan assist, and it's blowing air across the surface along in front, right behind the laser to keep that area cool. Because of the scoop, you can only go so thick. If you go too thick with the crumb tray in there, you have to take the crumb tray out, put something inside your bed, still have it lifted up to the point where it can clear the scoop inside there, the assist fan scoop.
You take the camera so you can get all your fancy little angles and stuff.
Okay.
Here you go, Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I'll kind of talk. Ooh, sorry. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Sean, you're struggling. All right, sorry about that, guys. So there's our dogs. So this machine, you'll see he has it elevated a little bit. That's just because if you're having any problems with the machine overheating or sometimes the smoke not coming, they'll say to have air intake. So he's lifted it up a little bit to make a difference there. And we've also reduced the amount of the exhaust there. You can see it's actually cutting right now. So it cuts acrylic really quick. The thing on acrylic that takes a little bit longer time is the engraving, but this is some thick stuff, and it's doing it in under 2.5 minutes. So it's a powerful machine. It is, I want to say, if I remember right, the Pro is 35% more powerful and faster. It's definitely worth the investment. We save a lot of time on the Pro, so I'm more than happy. But once it's done, it will say let your machine cool down, and really what that means is to let the machine minimize smell, because that fan is still going, and if you were to lift it up right away, it's going to be a little bit smellier. So even though it says cooling down, it's mostly so that way the smoke doesn't come out or the smell of acrylic. So all we're going to do is lift it, and there it is. We have a nice cut. Now this does have the tape on front and back, so we will remove that before using it. If we didn't do that, it would leave burn marks on the acrylic, and since this is clear. So that there is the actual eye that it actually is cutting. So right there is the actual where the laser comes out. And you can see our crumb tray is pretty dirty. That's because Sean does do a deep cleaning on it. And then we go through, but that actually just slides right in there. There's 4 little spots that it just sits into the grooves. And then the fan is in towards the back left. And that is what is sucking all of that stuff out. So, oh, you almost tripped me, little girl. Excuse me. I know you're back. How did you get through there? She moved the fence. So, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with how this did. So, I'm going to show you the camera down below here. Watch out, little girl. So this, you can see, this is where it cut the top, and this is the bottom. And if we did not have this placement or this transfer tape on the bottom, on clear acrylic, it would have left those burn marks on it. A lot of people say, oh, you can wipe it off. And to their point, if I grab just a baby wipe, it's not going to come off of this because it's the tape. If it's wood, it will come off the wood pretty good. Then all we need to do is grab some sort of pokey tool. You want to be you don't have to be very careful, but the acrylic will scratch. So I usually have a really nice Caesar tool that I like to use, but I don't know where someone might have taken that.
You had it last in the...
I know, it's always me.
No.
I find it on this table out here.
You have it in the top drawer.
Oh, I love the smell of acrylic.
Loves the smell of acrylic.
I love the smell of acrylic. It is the best smell ever.
This might have been asked, but what is the maximum dimensions of cutting or etching? It is...
Mine's, I always do it on 11.75 by 20 and usually fits in. Here's the deal is you can always move stuff around on there. So
are you looking for this, right?
that one's not my Caesar one.
Look in that same one, but I think it's like down underneath. I haven't used your, like under here, way down the bottom.
Gotcha. Alright, so let's remove this. I like this one just because when you're doing acrylic, it can scratch it. So I like to use this one because it's got a good way to start it.
Do you only have to use Glowforge proof grade? No, you can do anything you want. I have a piece of granite that I want to try etching on. If you can find material and it'll fit, great. If you want to buy proof grade, the nice thing about proof grade is that the QR code's on there and it sets everything up for you. If you try something that you're not sure what it is or there is no setting for it, you want to buy some extra pieces and practice and do some settings.
So this stuff is the stuff that comes from Glowforge already has this on the front and back. And if we are doing a wood cut and we're not worried about the back, Sean will take it off the back and everyone will say, oh, is it not going to cut? He's doing that because it will create, this is sticky.
So it's a glue.
It's a goo, so it will gum up your fan. So he wants to minimize that so he doesn't have to clean it as much. And their transfer tape, wherever they get it, it's good stuff.
Diana says, I use Home Depot's Columbia wood, which is the stuff we're using, but also don't mask. I just wipe with a microfiber cloth and alcohol.
Yep. That's what we do. But here it is. Look at that. Oh.
Clear.
And this is thick stuff.
His brother wants him to make some stuff for his toys to have stands.
His Star Wars toys, let's clarify that.
Well, it's G.I. Joe, actually.
Okay, but still, you just say toys. And if you don't know my brother, he really does have toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, a lot.
A lot.
So look at that.
And show him the edge, how that it is crystal clear. Yeah. So you can actually cut something, etch something, and put it in an LED light base, and it'll shine right through it.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. So that is it, cutting acrylic. Everyone always thinks acrylic's going to take longer. Are those towels supposed to be thrown away?
Yes, because they've been laced with oil stain, because I did a video.
So acrylic doesn't necessarily take longer. Acrylic is about the same. It's all about the file you bring in. So if you bring in a file that you don't want it to look like it's etching, what that means is, for example, Sean was saying if you do an HD graphic on an etching, its etching is so tight that it doesn't even look like there's a crosshair pattern or back and forth. But it's going to take a long time. And on acrylic, what I found is I like to grab essentially kind of like a toothbrush, and literally I just take that over it, and it removes the film, it removes all of it in the crevices, and then we just take an air can of air.
And the nice thing you can do also is that if you don't want a deep etch and you just want a light surface, you can reduce the power of that so it doesn't burn all melt or whatever it's doing as deep. It's a lot less. We'll like cut glass. It'll etch glass, but not cut it.
Yeah. Nope. And even some wood, like we got at Trader Joe's last year, they had olive wood cutting boards, and we wanted to do something on it. And that's where Sean's saying, like, you might want to grab 2 of them, because even though it etched, it didn't do it deep enough. And we had to play with the settings. And once we went to, once again, beyond the manual, everyone said that's a really dense piece of wood. It's very hard, so your settings have to be this. But even, it can be sometimes scary, because if you adjust your settings too much, even though you're etching it, it will be a deep etch. So I always recommend
softwood.
It's the softwood, yeah. So
it's very hard to figure out.
And so that's where once you find the setting that works, add it to your library. You saw in there, we have softwood, Santa board, stuff like that, because Sean's like, okay, I know the settings work, and I don't have to worry about coming up with that again.
Yep. Gina asks, can you etch on a Crickle after you cut it? Yep. Absolutely. Just as long as you put it back in there, put your design on it, and once it's where you want it, etch away.
Yep.
The machine sometimes may etch first and cut second, or vice versa. It just depends on how it comes in as the file.
And for whatever reason, at any time I do a score, it does the score after it does the cut.
Yeah, it's usually because score is usually the last thing, is why. And like I said, there's draft score, and then there's HD score. Draft is very fast. It's just barely bringing that score on it, but when you hit HD, it slows down and actually scores a little deeper, gives you a much, almost a thicker look, but it's very nice.
Yeah.
Just depends on what you're looking for.
So that is the Glowforge with acrylic. We plan on doing a lot more lives and stuff. We are in the process, like I said, tomorrow's my big edit day, because Jazzy's off and Sean has some videos to edit and I have a video to edit. Plus it's the kickoff to Black Friday for my Club Couture. But the main thing is these videos just take a while to edit, because we want to show like the unboxing, the setup. Because for those of you who bought a Glowforge, literally their setup instruction is setup.glowforge.com or glowforge.com/setup. And it's all online, super easy. And some people kind of want a video to walk through it and stuff. So that's what we're in the process of doing. And then we'll be doing more lives, but a lot of our videos we're trying to do are going to be like 4 minutes and under. Cut wood, score wood, etch wood, that kind of stuff.
Let's see, Jenna asks, can the exhaustion bring something you can remove from the window, or does it have to be fixed?
So it doesn't have to be fixed. So if we went back in that room, you'll see Sean has our exhaust in a piece of wood. And when we use our Glowforge, we open the window, put the wood into the window, shut it like as if it was a screen. Once it's done, he removes the wood and shuts the window so it's not cold.
And word of warning, if you live in a very cold spot and you leave that in there, don't. The machine does not like cold, cold, cold.
And it doesn't like more.
No.
And it will tell you. It will actually stop mid-cut and say your machine is either too cold or too warm. Once it gets back into the temperature, it will pick right up where it left off, but it can be frustrating.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yes, keep your box. If you buy one, keep your box.
Yes. Yes, keep your box and all the stuff that comes with it and stuff. We've had just a couple things go wrong with our machine, and they replaced parts and had them to us within 2 days. They have all their spare parts online, so if you're outside of your warranty and they're not able to help you, the only thing I will say, when I first looked at it, I was terrified of the machine because I've heard horror stories of them starting fires and all this stuff. And you do have to be careful with that. In my opinion, the reason why sometimes the fire would start is if we were cutting wood, we painted something and then we put transfer tape on top of that. If it's not on there secure, what ends up happening is it cuts it and your transfer tape flicks up. That's what starts the fire because now you have a loose transfer tape in there. So they will advise you when you set up the machine, you agree to their terms and conditions saying, I will never leave my machine while it's in use. And the majority of people, when I look at it, and I haven't seen many, I've only seen probably 3 Glowforge fires. The person says, I've never had an issue with my Glowforge starting a fire. I was gone for 15 minutes and I came back and it was gonzo. And it's usually because it was a loose transfer tape or something.
Something caught fire. Usually that inline, or not the inline, but the little tiny fan is blowing so much that it just blows it right out. It just blows it out.
Sherry says, no, CRICUT will not work with Glowforge. You can make it work by taking screenshot and importing into another artistic. I take screenshots and import into SCAL, but it's still a bit limited. Mostly works for me. Yes. Yeah. So technically, what Shelly's saying is true. You can take a screenshot of anything and take it into another program and turn it into an SVG or a PNG or something, but it's not going to be as clean as something that you've created in Inkscape or Adobe Illustrator or stuff like that. It will never be as pristine, but you can do it, yeah.
There's sometimes if you bring something in that you didn't really do anything to it, what looks like a straight line to the eye, it's probably got little tiny jaggeds, and the machine will actually sit there and move to what it looks like, and you wouldn't even know it. Is the machine heavy?
I actually have specs on that.
It takes 2 people to lift it because one, it's long. It's basically, the specs are on there. It tells you exactly what the size is and the weight, but you need 2 people to move it around. I mean, I can lift one side, move it, but if you're ever needing to move it to another space, 2 people.
Yeah, I can't find it right now, but it is on their website somewhere and stuff. So. And I will say they have the Pro down to where, like right now, if you were to order it today, you would have it by December 4th. The Plus is December 11th. The Basic is 2 month out, just because I'm sure that that's the one that they sell like crazy. And a lot of people say, do you think it was worth the cost to get the Pro? At first glance, I would say no. But here's the deal. Once you have the Basic, you can't upgrade it to a Pro. You have to just buy a new machine. And anytime we cut something, Sean always is like, use the Pro. I'm like, is it really that much faster? And he goes, 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
Yeah. 3 to 5 minutes faster.
We don't have to worry about the inline fan. The fan's strong enough and stuff. So if you can wait a few more months or even a half a year, I think it's worth getting the Pro, personally.
Because one of these days, I want to do pass-through piece. Mm-hmm. A great thing that a lot of people like to make is a growth chart.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah, growth chart with one of those.
On the Pro, if you move it to use the pass-through feature, do you have to recalibrate it? You only really need to recalibrate it if you're moving the machine. The pass-through, you wouldn't necessarily be moving the machine. Most people that once we remodel that room, those machines won't go like this. They will go this way to use the pass-through feature, because then you're passing it through and you don't have to move it. Right now, we couldn't use our pass-through feature without moving it because it sits up next to a wall. So when we remodel that room, they'll be on stands that go this way so we can use the pass-through without recalibrating it.
Where did you get the inline fan? You can go online. Heidi said where she got ours, which is the exact same model or brand I got. Here comes the link for it.
That's the 6-inch.
So there's the 6-inch.
And then the 4-inch of the one we got is...
So Brenda, you should see a link right there. Just click on it and it'll take you to Amazon. But I think it comes from the company that makes it, I think.
Yeah, we got ours pretty quick.
Yeah, it came quick.
And it was a godsend, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, like I said, once the warranty for the basic is 6 months, we had ours well over a year, and then I took that fan out. There's a video on how to do it. Somebody did it. It's not that hard, and I even cut the aluminum out of it, and now it's very flow through. Where the Pro, you really can't take the fan out of the Pro because there's a heat sink right in front of it. But once you say you tell it that there is a
you say I'm using
using a filter.
A filter.
The filter, it turns the fan off.
Yep.
Because the filter has its own fan. So it just sits there. But it'll rotate because of the suction of the other fan, and it'll still help.
So that's once again why I can't say it enough. When you're buying a Glowforge, you're not just buying a machine. You're buying the community, and it's huge. The Glowforge community is massive, and it's knowledgeable. All of the issues we've ever had, we've never went to Glowforge customer service. We went to Beyond the Manual. Sean's like, I went and talked to some users, and we had it fixed within seconds because of that. Yep. Or which inline fan, what transfer tape do you use? What is your favorite material to buy at Home Depot or Lowe's? It's just so vast. The second thing, software is easy to use. And the third thing is it is turning people into entrepreneurs. Our friend Sharon, she opened a store. She has a laser cutter. She opened a store because she's able to cut and etch and do all that stuff. So it truly, it's amazing what it's done for people's stuff. So if you use paste on a transfer on wood, then place it in the Glowforge, you can trace and cut outline. Correct. So that is one way you can do it. When I first got the Glowforge and I didn't know how to make SVGs and stuff, I literally would take my transfer, paste it, put it in, trace it, and now that there is an offset feature, when I did it, there was no offset feature, so it would cut right up to the line. Now you can actually do an offset to it, which is awesome.
Yeah, Shelly, our machine is fairly new, and as long as you clean it and buy the stuff that tells you to do it, there's a way to do it, and it works fine. I have had no problem.
Asked Beyond the Community, is that a Facebook group or online? It's online. Literally, if you just type in Google Beyond the Manual Glowforge, it will bring the forum up, and it's basically a massive chat forum. But what's nice about it is it uses Google search terms. So when we were having a problem, Sean, literally, we said Glowforge, very smoky room, something like that. All of these threads came up. You need to buy an inline fan. You need to clean it. Here's the link on how to clean it. Here's how to do your print calibration. Here's how to adjust your laser. Here's how to do everything. So
I actually bought some stuff online to help me clean both the little fan and the bigger fan.
Oh, yeah, those are out here.
Just to help me clean this stuff, because it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's doable, obviously, because as you're cutting a lot of stuff, the fan in the back, you take off your saw, you can see all this buildup, and all you're doing is cleaning it out, get yourself a shop vac and all that, just to clean it. So I've got these different sizes from teeny tiny to large, hard bristles to go in there, and you go right inside to clean all the little tiny spots that are inside the fan, even the little tiny fan. That's why I got the small one. Some pipe cleaners that are firm bristles to help clean it. I use a little bit of alcohol. You can use a little bit of, when you're cleaning your machine, I use a 1-to-1 of white vinegar and water just to wipe it down and clean it.
It's so cool.
It's easy.
I mean, my friend Allie, she came over. They do a trophy at their, they have a place that they go on the weekends during the summer. And on 4th of July, they do, forget what it's called, but it's basically like a cook-off, and then they win something. And she was like, can you help me make plaques and stuff? And it's so cool to literally go, here's your design, to watch it cut. We did coasters for her last year that were Cedar Hollow. I mean, it's just, you can make customized gifts. Just look up Glowforge Christmas projects. Your mind would be blown. We're in the process of doing a video on how to clean the Glowforge.
Yeah, I didn't shoot cleaning the Pro because we didn't have the Pro at the time.
Yeah. So,
but I do want to do that.
That's coming.
Yep.
All right, so we are gonna end this live. If you want to see us what we're using the acrylic for with this stencil, check out our other channel, Couture Ken's Creations. We'll probably be there by 7:30. It'll be a pretty quick live because it's a pretty quick project. And then we will not be back until next Tuesday, probably. Couple things. If you are someone that likes our artwork, we are doing an artwork auction this Sunday on my other channel, Chalk Couture, Ken's Kreations. And if you want to be part of that, that's this Sunday, the 22nd. We start at noon Pacific time, and we will go through until all artwork is gone. And that will be to benefit, part of the proceeds will benefit What's Left.
Yeah.
And stuff. So.
And Brenda, no, you oil nothing.
Nope.
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 Just clean.
All right, I get it's a big purchase, so if you have questions, please reach out to me or Sean. Most of the time, if you reach out to me, I'm just going to reach out to Sean and say, can I get clarification on this? Even if you don't use my link, we would love it if you use our link because you're supporting us then, but use someone's link because why pay full price when you don't have to? You can get $500 off this machine. It's amazing.
Off the Pro.
Yeah, and even if you refer one Pro machine to a friend, that's $600 in free product to get from them and stuff.
And you can go buy it. All those boards and stuff. You can buy a lot of stuff.
So, all right. So we will see you over on our other channel. Bye.